we're at floor 107. For 107, we do want pretty consistent debuffs, and this will be Death Dealer Ray's 1 PvE usage case, because he can spam a ton of sleeps without using non-attack skills. To get Death Dealer Ray, of course, you need to go to Side Story, Moonlight Theater, Fallen Land, finish all of it, Season 1 plus Season 2. Make sure you check the cast board in every single Moonlight Theater that you have, just to see if you can claim tickets from owning any of the characters. This way you can save a bit of gold. Otherwise, if you want to rush Abyss, then you might find yourself wanting to spend the gold to just finish it and get Death Dealer Ray. After you finish all of that, you can go to your Recruit tab. There will be a new Moonlight Blessing available, the Fallen Land Moonlight Blessing. I can't show the choices, but Death Dealer Ray, for RTA at least at the time of this video, is by far the best choice, so there's a good chance most of you guys will have him. These missions are pretty easy. It's like Clear 410, which is trivial. You can check the Episode 4 guide. And then this one's probably the annoying one. To get his skill enhancement, which is very, very necessary, we need to get 4 heroes to level 60. So that's promote them to 6-star, level them up. This is something you're going to be doing anyways. I would just farm out the resources for it if you don't have them. And we will be skipping the promotion one because 50 expeditions is way too many. This is a long-term goal, not one that we're going to rush. But that's it for the how to get Death Dealer Ray. Now let's get back to the floor and we can take a look at everyone's stats. One floor off. So starting off with Adventurer Ras, he's on his plus 15 HP set gear from Path of Air as always. And we'll be using Steadfast Gatekeeper over Arius for this floor, just because Ras himself is taking a lot of damage on this floor, and we don't want him taking all of the damage share from all of the light AoEs, because it starts adding up and he is more susceptible to dying that way. So I'm using Steadfast Gatekeeper instead. We also have Tamarinne on her speed HP set gear from Path of Air for doing her connection. And I'm using Wondrous Potion Vial here. I have it plus 15 for more relatability, though obviously go higher if you have the limit breaks. And it's because Pavel stuns sometimes, he blinds sometimes, so the Potion Vial is nice just to cleanse whenever you need it. Next up we have Death Dealer Ray. So Death Dealer Ray, you can kind of just pass your Asaria or Camilla gear over to him. This is a mix of my Asaria and Camilla gear. You just want 60 effectiveness, and then I tried to make him as fast as possible. I actually don't even know if the dog has any effectiveness, or has any F-res. I don't actually know if you need 60, but if he has any F-res, you're not going to need more than 60. You can just hit 60, it shouldn't be that hard. And then try to make him pretty fast with the rest of your stats going into HP and defense. I'm also using Warhorn just for a bit more attack on Commander Lorina. And I also ran out of Catalyst, so I couldn't 5-star awaken him. Plus for his skill enhancements, S1 you definitely want this plus 10 effect chance. S3 you should just max this out. You want the 100% chance ideally for the sleep. And then S2 you want at least plus 3. So that's more for PvP. I still think the CR push is kind of nice on floor wave 1 for this floor. So I still did this, and then I ran out of catalysts, but if you're looking to save molas on your Friendship 10, you can just leave this at plus 4 or something. Lastly, we have Commander Lorina, who as usual, we just have her on our best destruction plus pen gear with Daydream Joker as the artifact. That is it for everyone's stats, and now you can take a look at the run. This wave 1 honestly has a lot behind it. First up, when the boss has this barrier, we can't deal damage to him with S1s, so we have to use Commander Lorina S3 to break it. Given that we only have one ability that actually does damage on S2 or S3, you're going to want to either have Death Break or Attack Buff before you use Commander Lorina S3. If you do not land this Death Break, I highly recommend just resetting. Next up, these cannons you want to control as much as you can, just because they have a passive where if any of the enemies crit, they will get their skill cooldowns reduced by 1, which is annoying because if all 3 of them get to go, then they just start cycling their S3s like crazy. Also, your cannons might look a little bit different depending on whether or not the boss crits on his S1s, which here, boss missed crit on both of them, so you can see their cooldowns didn't go up at all. And then, this sleep doesn't matter because the boss is going to cleanse on his S3 and he's going to cut them. My DDR is luckily fast enough to go between the boss and the cannons, which is very nice. You could Ras S3 there, but the cannons strip on their S3, so I usually don't bother with it. Barrier's back up, and I'm going to sleep the one with the number 2 on it. I never sleep the first one just because you can see their cooldowns went down one, or up one there. But because the first one's just going to be a normal shot, I don't sleep that one. I prefer to sleep one of the ones that would have a chance to S2 or S3. And sleeping the second one there works fine just because since he can't crit, the third one, which was 2 turns, the way before the cannons moved, wouldn't have been able to use S3 anyways. We CC them again, just to prevent them from using their S3, and this S2 is a mistake because Commander Lorina does not cut in time, so I can't use S3 here because we're not going to break the barrier. We're just going to wait one more turn, and I'm going to Tamarinne S3 or the attack buff instead. You do want to be careful about using Tama S3, just because if you idle S1 wake up all the cannons, it could be annoying. But 2 of the cannons move here, and now we have attack buff, and we can go. The barrier is down, and we can start doing damage again. So here, Tamarinne goes and wakes up the other cannon. You can see the S3 here. Strips does a pretty good amount of damage, very annoying to deal with. We'll sleep one of the other cannons that's about the S3. And Tamarinne push lets us sleep the other one. It's also worth noting that we don't want to kill the boss too fast, because he has a passive where if you kill him on or after his 7th turn, you get a nice unique effect going into the next wave. The way I keep track of it is just let him S3 twice, though it can be annoying trying to control the cannons at the same time. So here, we are going to just... We can prepare to kill him because he's S3 twice. This should be his 7th turn. And we do want to keep note that the boss is going to cut Commander Lorina here if we don't press DDR S2, but I also kind of want to CC the cannons just to reduce damage going into the next wave. We don't really use DDR S3 that much in the next wave, so it's fine to just blow it here. Commander Lorina cuts so we can just S3, and we'll be in the next wave. This wave, Pavel, this S3, if he is buffed, it's going to stun. He's not buffed on the first turn though, so we can just tank it. You can see our little gold buff. It's basically just lifesteal. It's only relevant for Commander Lorina, though it's nice to have if you have bad RNG to help her sustain up, because our healing is cut. You can see Ras barely gets healed there. Plus Pavel got evasion buff. This little dog, just use DDR S1 on him and sleep him. You can soul burn it if you need to. And then otherwise, use Ras S2 into Pavel. Try to not use non-attack skills too much, because they CR push up the dog and also give Pavel evasion buff. If Pavel's going to move before Ras or your Commander Lorina goes, then it's fine. That's why I used Tamarinne S2 earlier. We're going to sleep the dog again. It's up to you whether you want the soul burn or gamble. Do make sure you have enough souls for Ras soul burn S2 though. I probably could have soul burned my DDR S1s a bit more here. And also, one thing to note is just, you don't always have to... If you're about to enter the second phase, which is when Pavel drops below 50%, you don't have to sleep the dog. But otherwise, do make sure he is asleep. If the dog attacks, then Pavel will use his S2, so it's very annoying to deal with. Now the dog transforms into another dog, and pretty much the same thing, it's just a bit more annoying. I'm just going to... I plan on using Tamarinne S3, so I'm just going to use DDR S3 to sleep. Normally, you avoid using DDR S3 and only use S1, so you don't get the evasion buff thing. But since I'm in a Tamarinne S3 anyways, we're just going to use it here. Also, I'm not going to use S2, just so that Rizza doesn't CR push himself. I want to make sure Tamarinne goes first, because when Tamarinne does S3 into S2 here, Rizza's going to get a ton of CR, and this way, it's before he takes his turn and not after. So now it's back to normal. We just hit Pavel when we can, and otherwise sleep Rizza. So here, soul burn and sleep him, and now we can start hitting Pavel. The Soulburn Sleep was also just not good, just because Tamarinne's gonna wake him up anyways. But we've done enough damage at this point, just landing Death Break with all the dual attacks, that we can just kill him. So that's the floor. A really good RNG run on my part, but the general mechanics will stay the same even with bad RNG.